they'll find the holes eventually. So to inspire that in the customers, to give them confidence in it, we have to be able to do it, we have to be able to prove it, and they'll see it in our applications.
But on the look and
we
feel,
should have a picture of a lock on every one of our screens.
on
Then
the
they'll
look
feel
and
secure,
feel,
right?
if you ask me to give my wallet, but I see that you have your pants with holes in it, I'm not gonna give it.
Maybe I think it was referring to maybe HTTPS or what kind of protocols we use. It gives confidence to users. But I have another question. Recent NSA leaks and all this, does that impact our business?
Say that again?
NSA leaks. Are you hearing from customers that are they expecting us to do anything extra?
I mean, a lot of customers ask us to get certifications, get security certifications. Almost, from the conversations I had earlier this week in security workshop, I mean, almost all the customers are asking us, do you have, these certifications that, prove that you're secure? So sometimes customers won't even engage with us unless we have certain certifications that say, yes, we're secure, yes, we do security. So yeah, I mean, it's important. Customers inherently expect it, but now more and more customers are actually forthcoming and asking for it. They typically, in the past, they'd ask for, they'd buy a product and they just assume, Cisco, it's secure, expect it. Now, people, with Target and all these things that are happening, companies are more aware of it, more concerned about it, and they're gonna start asking about it. They're gonna being more diligent in who they do business with, and actually looking under the hood, actually asking those questions. Because as more security issues happen, the companies, the people out there are getting more educated, right? Security's getting more. They're getting more educated. The more they know, the more questions they're going to ask, and we have to be able to answer them without a doubt and show our abilities and our intelligence. And get those certifications. We can say, yes, we're certified. We do this. And if we can stay above that, then the competitors don't have that differentiation if we can stay and say we have these certifications.
David, I had a question about agile transformation. How is your tracks requirements? Are you seeing the user stories going into the project teams?
Definition of that.
Application of.
Yeah, so I mean, and June can talk about this. I mean, doing security is just it's inherently part of Agile, right? I mean, it should be no different than having QA embedded as part of Agile. We're still testing the quality. We still make sure we're secure as well. So it ties directly into Agile. It's just part of the way we do things. It's part of the definition of done. It's part of just everything we do. And it shouldn't. In the beginning for CSTL, we have to do separate user stories to count for the work of the initial activities, right? It's just, there's a lot of work. And we have to account for that. And back to Jim, I mean, the biggest hindrance is time. I mean, we have 10 tracks, we have GRC, we're throwing a lot at the project teams. And, I push the project teams, I push the leaders to good. But in the grand scheme of things, you understand that the project teams are under immense of pressure from different directions to get 10 tracks coming at them, GRC coming at them, customer PRDs coming at them. So you've got to understand from the project teams where they're coming from, and just giving them the time and the flexibility to do that work, empower them to do it, and manage their time and get it done. But as far as user stories, we do the user stories at first just to account for that work, because it is work. But eventually, as teams go through and do it, just like Agile, they'll get better and better. You don't need the stories because it's just part of your development. It's just part of how you implement a story. Is you implement that story, you make sure it's quality, it performs well, it's industrial strength, and it's secure. Questions? For the sake of time, I probably should shut up.
Thanks, David. Big round of applause for David. Just to call out, David and Venkata, along with Sarika, have been doing a fabulous job in security. And your communication has been fabulous. I still remember the Akbar story that went viral. Because of you, I think all the tracks got inspired and they're picking up many nuggets from you guys. So kudos to what you're doing, and keep up the great work. Thank you. So The next person in line is Junilo.
Oh, it's me?
Yes. So Junilo is pretty much leading, and he is a part of the core team in multiple tracks, but he pretty much is the front face for test-driven development. And Junilo is here to talk more about test-driven development, and also top of his mind, any questions that you have in mind, you can ask him. Junilo.
Sure. Thanks. I'm here as a developer, so I want to talk directly to developers. Who's a developer here? Who codes on a day-to-day basis? Yeah, all right. We got a good turnout. Day-to-day, you're not a day-to-day.
Good try.
Okay, so I'm a developer too. I review code every day. I try to code as much as I can every day. But with Falcon and everything else going on with security, I'm finding myself getting spread out to other things. But I think it's really neat, the things that are happening now, and also in combination with our push to become more agile and to transform. It's pretty fitting that we talk about this today, because today is Ash Wednesday, if you're aware of it, and it's the start of the Lent season. And I was at Mass just now at 12 o'clock. I went to 12 o'clock Mass, and the homily was about what is Lent about. And Lent is really about transformation. I remember one of my favorite priests who's passed away the past couple of years. He said he would, every Sunday when you go to church to go to Mass, his homily would be pretty much, are you better today than you were last week? So for me, it ties back to what we're doing here in trying to transform, because what we're trying to do is really transform ourselves as an organization, but also as individual contributors, right? And I think it's important for us to remember that, it's not just these managers pushing us to do more work and do work faster and deliver faster. We have a role in the success of this transformation that we're trying to undergo. And that role is pretty much to put our all into it. And another thing that the priest was saying today about the transformation is, you can't transform if you're indifferent. Right? You have to have a passion for it. You have to put yourself out there and really do something significant. And you can't just say, somebody else will do that. And it ties back to what David was saying about caring. We need to care. We as developers need to care about security. And even though it's a hard thing, we need to put in the effort to learn about security. And those are some of the things that I'm actually doing. I'm helping out with the Security Ninja Greenbelt certification, giving them input on how to write secure Java code. And I think to your question about what's keeping us from, what's the big obstacle, I think from the developer side it's education. And just awareness that there are certain things we shouldn't be doing as developers and coders. And a lot of people are not aware of these. And so I think it's up to the technical leaders and, your senior developers to start helping out the other folks. And start doing more code reviews, because that's important to me. And that now ties into TDD, because TDD is one of the practices that I really promote. Because you can't be an agile development team if you don't do test-driven development. I firmly believe that. If you know who Uncle Bob is, who knows Uncle Bob? Uncle Bob says you are not a professional developer if you don't do test-driven development. Now, I buy into that philosophy.
Well, I will say I also agree to test-driven development, but some of the tools that we are using in CSTG doesn't lend itself to be test-driven compliant or easy or
Right.
feasible to be.
Right. And I'm not saying.
Let's fix that.
I'm not, yeah, and I'm not saying it's easy, because actually TDD is hard. TDD is a very difficult discipline to adopt, and if you're starting out with bad code, it's almost impossible.